So in this case, like I said before, today's training will be based on this solution for the small and medium based solutions, that is. So in regards to independently owned gas station solution. So to start off our lesson today, let's take a look at how we can run a safe and more profitable gas station. So in this case, we have some opening remarks here that independently owned gas stations require a great deal of safety measures. And in case of an emergency, for example, like fire or robbery, in an effective alarm system is a must for such an environment. So in this case, detecting the dangerous scenarios like fire or smoking, as well as identifying the blacklisted individuals, shall be implemented in the whole system establishment within this scenario here for the gas station. So nevertheless, it is hard to rely on the employees to do all of this with such high accuracy, because we are human beings, we are prone to making mistakes, and again, we are prone to not being so keen when it comes to taking some key details of certain events or occurrences. So the station manager again needs an intelligent monitoring system that can provide safety maintenance and dangerous individuals identification within the surroundings where the businesses occur. So in this case, we're going to be describing the entire system that can be implemented within a gas station. And again, ways of, let's say, for example, generating more profit to that institution for the gas stations, just for the employees to enjoy the benefits of having such security solutions within those environments. So let's take a look at today's content. So in today's content, we are going to describe the following things. We're going to take a look at the challenges and the requirements. The challenges that the gas stations experiences on a day-to-day scenarios, or maybe day-to-day activities, and some of the challenges that we can use, or maybe some of the requirements that we can implement or maybe provide as a solution to counter the challenges that the gas station experiences. Now, alongside the challenges and the requirements, we'll take a look at the solution overview. So this solution overview will be taking a look at the different sections of the gas station that we can provide just to mitigate the challenges that they're experiencing at the moment, alongside the different areas of the gas station. Then again, you can take a look at the topology to which all those devices for ensuring the safety and security at the gas station are interconnected together. So you have a topology that shows the interrelation between the front-end devices and again the back-end devices. Then we'll move on to the solutions values. So these solution values will be comparing having the challenges and the requirements to mitigate those challenges that the gas station's experiences on a daily basis. So the gas station has different sections. Let's say, for example, from the entrance, maybe the open area where we have, let's say, for example, cars coming and fueling. We have the entrance of the gas station offices. We have, let's say, for example, the shopping area. We have the offices and some other areas for loading or offloading the fuel from the tankers to the underground tanks for the gas stations. Then we're going to finish up our discussion by highlighting the different products that have been selected to achieve this gas station solution. So these products are being carefully selected or chosen just to ensure that it can fulfill the needs of the security at the gas station. So let's begin describing the challenges. So in this case, we have some sets of challenges that experience on a daily basis at the gas station. And again, these challenges must have some requirements just to ensure that we counter or try to mitigate them completely. So in this case, we have some challenges here. Describe them from, let's say, for example, clockwise from this point until we finish up with this at the end. So the major challenge for this gas station is actually on how to prevent unrelated people from entering specific areas of the gas station. And those specific areas are basically places such as the critical areas on the office, where we have a lot of the company paperwork, company documentation, and again, we have more other important documents or apparatus that can be used within that particular gas stations. So we have to find a way of ensuring that these people are prevented completely from accessing those particular sections. Apart from the offices, we have, let's say, for example, the perimeter of the gas station. So in this case, there's some people who unlawfully or just force their way into the perimeters of the gas station, and again some other dangerous places such as the offloading area. So we need to find a solution for preventing those people from even coming and doing the siphoning or maybe stealing devices or products where we have those vehicles offloading the fuel. Then we have challenges of how to reduce the loss at the gas station. So in this case, the losses can be as a result of rogue employees within the gas station who just want to satisfy their egos and have a way of stealing the products from the gas station. For example, the different lubricants that are used, the vehicles, or again, we have other theft from external sources. Let's say, for example, external individuals who just come to the gas station and do the robbery. So in this case, we need to find a system that will enable us to reduce this kind of losses before they occur. Then we have ways to reduce the fire hazards. So in this case, we know that the petrol station or the gas station is a critical area. So in this case, we are dealing with flammable products. These flammable products have to be protected in such a way that they don't trigger or cause fires. So in this case, we need to have a security system that will be detecting those smaller instances of a fire before they erupt to become something that cannot be controlled the near future. Other challenges include ways of responding to emergencies timely. So we know that we as human beings, we take time before we respond to such emergencies. So we need to find a solution in such a way that we have products that will be monitoring the scenarios, then again, will be warning us before an event happens. Then again, we find a way of going through the details to check what is happening before, after, or after the event. So in this case, we need emergency maybe systems that can be used to deter occurrences from happening. Then we need to have, let's say, for example, another challenge that is challenge within the gas station for bringing in more profits. So in this case, if we can find out, let's say, for example, at the cashier area, the cashier in some cases can make some losses, let's say, for example, by either undercharging the individuals who are paying for their products at that particular point. And then again, just to avoid that, we need a POS system that can manage all these kind of profits that are going to be handled by the gas station. Then the last challenge is basically on preventing outsiders from entering to the offices. So at this point, this challenge is basically caused simply because we don't have ways of maintaining order in different sections, and again, ways of restricting access to different offices. So in this case, we need to have solutions for managing access to different areas only by authorized individuals. Those authorized individuals will be given different ways of accessing those areas or rooms or offices, and that's going to be governed by the different access control devices that can be implemented in such an environment. So from the challenges, let's take a look at the solution overview for the gas station. So our solution overview basically going to describe the different application scenarios at the gas station. So we have the fueling zone, where people come with their vehicles, either non-motor vehicles or the vehicles just to fuel the vehicles. This is the outside environment. We have scenarios such as at the entrance of the retail store within the gas station. Again, that has to be protected. You're going to see how you're going to have that solution implemented at that particular point. Then inside the retail store where you have the products, again, we need to provide a solution that will be monitoring the individuals inside there as a way of eliminating different levels of theft to minimize the losses, to ensure that we can generate some more revenue for this retail store. Alongside the product area, we have the cashier area. So we need to find a solution, again, that is going to protect the cashier and is going to protect the clients as well. So in terms of any kinds of disputes, we need to find a way of ensuring that we can maintain some order at that particular area. Again, in the event, let's say, for example, the cashier feels threatened, we need to find a way that we're going to have the cashier notifying the authorities without raising some alarm to the people who are threatening that cashier. So apart from this store cashier, we need to have some other security at the offices. This is just some other application scenarios that can be implemented within the gas station. So the offices needs to be provided with some access control devices, or maybe some other access control mechanisms just to limit access to those offices, and again to limit access to people who do not have authorized information, maybe authorized means of accessing those offices. Then the last scenario here for the solution overview is basically the unloading zone. So that's another critical section whereby we're going to be dealing with a lot more with products which are flammable. And again, we need to protect the area so that we can avoid people from trespassing from the outside to get to the inside of the unloading zone. So because that's a risky place, and again, fire can start if you're not that careful. So these 6 areas are the application scenario areas we are going to be describing throughout our discussion today. So for each application scenario, we're going to be mentioning the challenges and again providing the solution to that area just to mitigate or minimize the chances of having more of those challenges ever occurring. So like I said before, having taken a look at those application scenarios, we need to find a way of generating the system structure or a topology to which all these devices can be interconnected all through until we achieve the solution implemented. So in this case, we have different products, and these products are basically the IP cameras or any other camera that you can think of. This is basically going to be the frontline defense of the solution you're going to provide here. So these areas, these cameras are basically going to be used in different areas that we mentioned before: the fueling, refueling zones, unloading zones, the entrance, the cashier, the store cashier, the product area, just to name a few. So all these products are basically going to be the front-end devices that will be capturing all the detailed key events, then relaying them to the back-end devices for the security personnel to monitor or assess the area. So alongside this, we need to have some linkages. So these linkages are basically the cables to which are basically going to be connected to these front-end devices to link them to the transmission devices such as the switches that we have in. So here we can have more than one switches. We can have, since we need to have cameras on different sections of the gas station, we might find that we have more of them, which are basically going to be put in different sections. So to pull the data from the cameras to the back end, here we need to have, for example, a number of access switches just to ensure that all these cameras are interconnected together. So the access switches will be relaying the data to, let's say, for example, this core switch or a distributor switch, just for the purposes of ensuring we have the optimum utilization of the network bandwidth, and then again, the compressed data to store, to save on the storage capacities. So we have a switch here connected to these Ethernet cables. At the same time, this will take the data to maybe the main office. And this main office, you're going to have some other storage devices. Let's say, for example, this NVR here to store all the compressed data from this, compressed and encoded data from these front-end devices to the hard disk on the device itself. So through the switch, you'll find that you can connect to the software platform, that's the DSS Express, to ensure that you can manage all these products that we have here in one single platform. So this DSS Express platform can manage a number of products. We have the cameras, we have the intercoms, and the access control products. Now, for the owners of the gas station, if they want to get to see all the occurrences, whether live or the playback, from whichever point the region they are in at the moment, we can always recommend them to use the DMSS software, mobile software platform, that's basically going to enable them to view remotely of all the occurrences that are happening at the gas station, either during the day or during the night again. So they have all, it's like they're having a mobile gas station in their mobile phones. So if the event, they need to have to view anything, all the push notifications will be sent to their mobile phone just to ensure that they keep up with whatever is happening at the gas station. So this is just a basic system structure that can be used just to ensure that we have a solution in place for security at the gas stations. Not just this gas station, but this can be implemented in any other gas station as long as we have the permissions to have this. Okay. So let's start taking a look at some of the solution values one at a time for those mentioned areas at the gas station. So we're going to start with the refueling zone. And in this case, we need a solution that will give us some early warning of some of the occurrences that could have happened. And those occurrences, if they're not put into consideration, it's going to create some more issues related to fire and loss of property and the loss of lives again. So in this case, the refueling zone, most of the challenges basically as follows. It's difficult to early warnings, for example, early detection of a fire or early detection of, for example, smoke. So apart from that, again, we have some other more risk of dangerous behaviors from the people who are coming to refuel to their vehicles, or the people are just passing by at the gas station as they tend to walk into the retail stores. So in this case, we need some cameras that can detect such behaviors and raise an alarm just to ensure that they stop such behaviors. We know that the minute you get this gas station, supposed to switch off your vehicle. At the same time, you don't use your mobile phone because that can trigger some problems with fire. Now, alongside switching off the vehicle and switching off your phone, again, you're not recommended to use any kind of products that can easily trigger fire. Let's say, for example, smoking at such areas. So the solution highlights which are meant to deter these challenges are basically products that can detect early fire detection, maybe early fire warning, at the same time, early light and sound warning, and the smoke detection. So in this case, if you compare, let's say, for example, just an ordinary camera with a thermal camera that can be used to deter or maybe to detect early warnings of fire instances, we find that the general cameras cannot actually enable you to detect those instances of fire. If you take a look at this is a thermal camera, and through its thermology, you find that now it can detect the slightest instance of fire. Compared to the smoke detectors, the smoke detector will only detect, let's say, for example, when already fire has started and the fire is growing. So, and again has started generating a lot of smoke. That's when this smoke detector will start alarming. Now, when you go to the general camera, what it will do, it's basically give you just an output on the display screens of how the fire is actually enlarging or maybe expanding. So this will not give you any kind of warning. So thermal cameras are basically suited for this environment, whereby they have that ability of ensuring that they can detect even the slightest instances of fire. So the sparks actually can be detected by these kind of products that we have here for the thermal, just to ensure that it can raise an alarm just to the authorities to come and put out that particular fire. Or in the event, let's say, for example, you have water sprayers, it can trigger the water sprayers to start spraying water in that particular environment just to mitigate those instances of fire starting. So alongside that, there's this option for early light and sound warning. So this kind of product that we have, for example, TPC, that's a thermal camera, that's a bullet in nature 2241. So this product can actually detect those small instances of fire, then again can sound an alarm just to warn the individuals. So just to come and check before the fire destroys the properties or injures lives. So alongside that, since we have some other people that have those dangerous, risky behavior of smoking in these particular sections again, the camera can detect these behaviors and raise an alarm just to warn the people at those areas to put off their cigarettes, because they can start a fire at any given time, because the area could have some spillages of fuel, either from the fuel pumps or some other leaks from the vehicle within this certain section here. So in this case, reduce having such, in this particular fueling zone, we need to find a way of reducing the risk and losses. Thus, to deter the violators by active deterrence products and early warnings to prevent the losses of property and lives again. So, and the recommended product that you can choose from this particular point is basically having this thermal PC product, just to govern this environment by producing the light and sound warning, and again doing the early fire detection before it grows completely, and then again to detect these risky behaviors of individuals who are trying to smoke within the gas station. So we take a look at a different application scenario. So we have the unloading zone. And this unloading zone, we need to have products that are basically going to give us those accurate alarms and active deterrents, just to ensure that we bring normalcy at that particular gas station. So the main challenges experience is having ways of preventing unrelated people from entering into this environment here, where we expect to have the loading trucks or tankers and unloading of fuel from the tankers to the underground fuel pumps at the gas station. So how to ensure the safety of unloading operations within this area. And the safety of this environment, or maybe these challenges, are basically going to be mitigated by having such solutions in this section. One, basically to have products that can give a 24 hours a day, 7 days monitoring, either day or night. Products that will actually provide that intrusion detection from the people who are entering into these restricted zones, or the people are trying to jump over these walls to enter into these restricted zones. So products, again, that will give those early active deterrents, just to warn off the intruders or fend off the intruders. At the same time, we need to have, let's say, for example, solutions that will provide flexible time settings, just to ensure that we can have meaningful information generated by those cameras when we're doing some business analysis or data analytics of the areas for unloadings. So in this case, this is an example of an intrusion rule. This is facilitated by the perimeter protection functions, intelligent function for the cameras. So we need to find solutions that will govern this intrusion. So the event any, let's say, for example, individuals walks into this intrusion area, what will happen is that the camera will produce the alarm to warn off those intruders. And for this to be achieved, we need to have recommended products such as this perimeter vigilant product that supports audio, alarm, and SD. Just to record those events in its inbuilt SD card compartment. So these are Wisman 5 products that's basically going to give us such solution. Wisman 5, it's a 2 megapixels that has an AI generation sensor. Then there's suppose a starlight function. So this will support audio, alarm, and SD card. At this time, this is a PV for perimeter vigilance. So in this case, the solution should improve the safety by providing these intelligent algorithms that improves the accuracy and reduces repeated confirmation of security personnel. At the same time, to enhance security through the active deterrents, which can deter the intruders in time before they gain access to the protected areas. the store entrance. And the solution that you can provide is just the face recognition solution. So the main challenge is basically preventing the theft and the thief and robbery. And for us to provide this kind of a solution, just to ensure that we can prevent this theft and robbery, we need to give out solution in the products that support the face recognition. And again, the products will give you the full color monitoring, just for us to get some clear details about the person who, let's say, for example, is on the verge of trying to steal from the retail store. So in this case, we need to have a product that will give us this wide angle view at the entrance so that you can see the details more clearly, just to ensure that you can have the person or maybe the culprits in the right time. So with this product, will support the face recognition. Then again, it's a video input, or the image input will be in full color form, just to ensure that everything is seen as it is. And this is how the trend, or maybe, for example, the process to which it can actually identify the people who have tried to rob the shop or maybe the store, at the same time the people who have been blacklisted or allowed to enter into that particular shop. So we have the customer, then the camera will basically do some face detection. After detecting your face, it basically start molding the face, then trying to compare with what is with some other functions of the NVR that supports the face recognition. So the camera detects, then we leave out the function to the NVR to do the facial recognition. This is where we have the molding and the comparisons between what we have in the database. So once you're within the database, it will start filtering based on the allow list and the blacklist database features. So in this case, if you're blacklisted, what will happen is that the camera will sound an alarm. Now, if you're in a wait list, you're not going to end up getting any kind of alarms. You'll be allowed to get into the store again. So we have the NVR alarms generated because it has detected the blacklist individuals. Then at the same time, we can end up getting to see the live view of the people who are captured by the camera or using our display screens again. So this process is basically very important when it comes to mitigating such challenges at the store, because without this, we'll end up having repeated occurrences of this theft every now and then, simply because you don't have a database of the people who have been disconnected completely, or maybe the people who have been blacklisted from entering such places because of their the previous behaviors. So the products will just do a search of all the information within the database, just to ensure that it can separate the people who are whitelisted from the people who are blacklisted again. So this becomes easier a lot, simply because the devices have this storage that can easily identify those blacklisted individuals quite easily, as compared to having a security guard at the door just to keep on checking. We'll tend to forget those faces quite easy because there are so many people walking in and out of the store. But if you leave those features to the solution highlights provided at the store, and again aided by, let's say, for example, the guard, it's going to be easy when it comes to detecting such events. So we have customers, cameras, that supports face detection. Then we have an recording device that supports face recognition. That's by device. So this detects, this does the facial recognition, filters out after molding, doing the comparison, now starts doing filtering out the snapshots and the blacklist database. If you're there, the NVR does what? Raises an alarm. If you're not within the blacklist, you are allowed to get the store without any kind of alarms. So the products that can be recommended in such situations, maybe in such environment, is having products that supports facial detection and facial recognition. So we have, for example, this is a Vanderproof DOM from the Wismind 5, 4 megapixels, AI generation, and that supports Starlight Plus or the wide dynamic range function. So at the same time, it supports alarm, SD card, etc. So this is an NVR that supports face recognition by device. That's basically some AI function fused into this recorder. Yeah, the product area inside the store, main challenge is basically having that convenient wiring, simply because we have different cameras at different locations just to ensure that you can capture each and every corner of the store. So meaning that having multiple cameras to imply that we have a lot of wiring and cabling running from one end where the camera is to where we have, for example, the cabinets where we terminated those cables to switches and into the recorders. So that's a challenge. And again, it makes the environment messy. Yeah. Yes. Then another challenge is having a way of bringing those extra values to the store. So in this case, it's not easier to detect where these individuals have been clustered a lot, or maybe where we have a concentration of the people. So that's another challenge, because find that people tend to go to one particular corner of the store instead of just moving around trying to shop for each and every place at the store. So a solution can be provided for these product areas basically by providing large angle of view and heat map generated EPUB generation by cameras. So here we can highlight, or we can provide such a solution by recommending products. Let's say, for example, this Vanderproof fisheye product, which has a high resolution, just to ensure that you can capture a lot of details within the store. So in this case, this is the kind of view that you're going to find the fisheye product generating. So this will give you a 360-degree angle view of the entire store. So this eliminating the need of having multiple cameras in different places. So with such a product, you'll find that you're only going to require just one cable from where the recorder is and where the camera is, ensuring that the networking place is basically neat enough. So alongside this, having such a product basically going to display the customer's flow inside that particular product area. So in this customer flow, again, the product can generate the heat map of where we have lots of concentrated individuals. With that regard, this can help us redistribute the product inside the store just to ensure that we have movement of all the sections of the store. And having the movement of all the sections of the store, we find out now we have reach of maybe visibility of all the products, which the users or maybe the customers or the clients can end up accessing all. So in this case, having such products inside the product area, we find out now it can give us that better customer service. This is through the directing your staff to where are the most needed, and the in-store data to improve the customer experience. The other function, maybe the other reasons, or maybe the other advantage is that you can optimize the store layout. This can predict the customer's needs and equip your store to meet their preferences using the heat map generated. So for example, if you take a look at this section, this area is basically sparsely populated, but these other ends, we find that we have lots of concentrated individuals here. So most people, they're just looking for the preferred commodities in these regions and leaving out these other regions because they don't have have what they require. So as the store personnel can actually redistribute these products where we have these highly concentrated individuals into different areas, so that can make the clients just walk around looking for the products. As a result, at one point you find that they're doing this impulse buying because that's the nature of individuals. So that can end up bringing extra values generated at the store. So the product recommended is basically this vandal-proof fisheye product that supports audio and again has built-in speaker and an SD card just to ensure that it can support recordings to the product. The store cashier, we need to bring out or highlight products that will give us the video with audio and quick arming in the event there's an occurrence at that particular area. So the major challenges experienced at the store cashier area is basically ways to reducing disputes and losses between the cashier and the customers. And then again, how to send an alarm information when emergencies occurs. So in this case, from this solution highlights, we see how to apply these scenarios. So at the cashier, we have a panic button. The event the cashier feels threatened in a way by the clients, or let's say, for example, the robbers, can press this panic button and raise an alarm for the security personnel to come and check the area. So alongside that, we'll have some recommended products that will support built-in mic, can do recording of sound while recording the video at the same time, providing the evidence for the disputes between the cashiers and the clients. Then we have the emergency button in case of emergency in form of to inform the managers to assist. The event, say for example, the clients become more responsive or tries to produce different behaviors that might end up causing some damage, maybe injuring other people. So in this case, need a product that will support all these features, the video, alarm, and audio at the same time. So products recommended, such a product that we have here, an eyeball, a Wisman 5 4 megapixels, AI generation, supports WDR or the starlight function, just to ensure that you can capture the video feeds in detail. So we have this distress panic button here. That's basically going to call the managers to assist in such scenarios. So apart from just protecting the security of the cashier and then again protecting the client and the cashier when it comes to the disputes and losses, we have another solution that's basically going to prevent such issues or scenarios. So we have products for business analytics for the retail section. So in this case, we have an intelligent NVR or the DMSS software platform that supports the POS overlay. That's the point of sale overlay. So in this case, this camera here, it's basically going to be monitoring the POS terminal and that the video and corresponding POS information can be shown simultaneously in both live and playback mode. So this can be seen at the DSS Express or the DSS Pro interface. So in this case, the camera will record the audio and the video at the same time and store it within the recorder. That's the NVR. So then again, all the transactions that are basically carried on at the POS terminal are basically going to be put inside the POS server or the point of sale server. Then again, that's connected to the recorder itself. So from the recorder, since it's connected within the same network where we have the DSS or the software platform, we can get to see those functions recorded by the camera at the POS terminal. So whatever key item that the cashier keys in, the camera will be recording and transferring the data to the DMSS. So this will basically going to be easier when it comes to, let's say, for example, registering the number of items which have been brought by the client at the POS and the amount for each and every product. So for business values and some other intelligent business analysis can be done at the DSS platform. So at the office, like we said before, the main challenge is preventing unauthorized access of individuals, whether employees or outsiders. So we need to have only the specific individuals having access to those particular areas. So then again, the operation becomes a little bit complex when it comes to, let's say, for example, manning or governing the security of the entire gas station solution or the environment. So in this case, to prevent unauthorized access to such a place, for example, this critical surveillance room, we need to have products such as the access control devices that have registered information on only the people who are supposed to gain access to those rooms or offices. Then we need to have, let's say, for example, the remote alarming, or maybe the remote alarms that's basically going to be provided by the DSS software platform connected to the entire solution for the gas station. So in this case, some functions such as the pop-up alarms of the DMSS for the person who's basically managing the entire solution. We have snapshots. This DSS can enable to retrieve all the recordings, can manage all the alarm output devices, can again use the PTZ cameras for doing tracking or auto tracking of events. And then again, this DSS Express or Pro software platform can control all the doors within the gas station. So this becomes easy or necessary when it comes to providing securities for unauthorized places, for places that don't require any unauthorized individual accessing because of privacy, and again, because of the critical information that could have been stored in those sections. So in this regard, it's easier to operate. That's this solution for video intercoms, access controls, video surveillance, and alarm into one platform. So easy operation reduces training costs simply because you only need to have two or three individuals manning the environment. So the recommended products that can enable the gas station personnel to achieve such a solution are basically the ones that are listed here. For example, the access control integrated device, that is ASI 2212HW. We have the DMSS application. We have NVR Series 5, supports 2 hard disks in the 16 channel, all being PoE enabled. It's an intelligent device, but a light version device. Then we have the DSS Express platform to manage all these devices in one area. last part of today's training is basically taking a look at the product selection. The products are basically going to facilitate the achievement of having this solution implemented at the gas station level. So let's take a look at these products one at a time so that you can see how they can be incorporated at this solution overview section, where we have the systems overview or the topology of how those products have been interconnected all through together. So we have the products, the model numbers for the products, the images, and the parameters, what they actually have. So the first, we talked about the fueling zone, where we have the vehicles fueling, and again we have other areas such as this, for example, the loading and the unloading zones for those tankers. So we suggested this thermal camera product, just to ensure that it can be in a position to detect those small instances of fire, because we have different agents that can start or maybe cause the fire. Let's say, for example, mobile phones, we have individuals smoking at those particular areas, or again, be sparks from the engines of the vehicles, which can cause buildup of fire. So having such thermal cameras implemented, or maybe put in those environments, becomes easier to monitor the scenes, just to ensure that we can detect any of those small instances of fire. So we have this thermal product that's basically a hybrid bullet camera. It's a 4 megapixels with a progressive CMOS scan. Offers various AI functions such as intrusion. There is target filtering. We have heat detection, because again it can detect the heat, then generate some heat maps. There's a smoking detection, calling detection. So if it detects any of this, for example, the smoking detection and the calling detection, what it will do, it will trigger an alarm. So this has a built-in white light and speaker to produce light and sound alarms to deter intruders. Say, for example, where we have the loading zone. Then we suggested another product for a different area again. That's a bullet whiz mind network camera that has the active deterrence features. That's the perimeter vigilance. Then at the entrance, and again at the POS station, there's a product that was recommended here, just to ensure that it gives us that wide angle view, maybe the wide angle view at the entrance, and then again can use one to connect to the POS terminal, just to ensure that we can record all the transactions carried out by the cashier at that particular environment. So alongside the first three items, we have the products, for example, a 12 megapixels panoramic fish eye camera. In this case, this is basically meant to give us that 360-degree angle view at the product area, where we have clients coming to shop for different items as they wait for their vehicles to be fueled, or maybe those passers-by client who just come to do their normal shopping at those particular areas. So this is a kind of camera again that you can put there, and as a result of having this camera put in such environment, I limit the need of having multiple cameras installed in different strategic points, just to ensure that it covers the entire zone or the entire product area. So having 1 or 2 of these is practically sufficient enough. We have other areas for example, that we've mentioned before, we can suggest an eyeball product. That's basically going to give us another dynamic view, just to ensure that we can capture all the scenes quite clearly with a lot of details, just for cases where we need to have the recordings, or we need to have playback, just to give us this clear, detailed information about the events at that particular point again. So at the cashier again, we say that we can offer a solution just to ensure that we can alert the managers in the event the cashier feels a little bit threatened, or there's any kind of theft or robbery at that particular section. Just alarm the personnel just to ensure that we have the security at that particular area controlled before we have the products damaged, or again, we have people injuring themselves. Alongside these other products, we mentioned about the access control products, the intercom products, etc., just to ensure that we have limited access to different areas for the purposes of security. So in this case, if we have all the registers, the users registered these access control devices, those are the ones that are going to gain access to the different areas that are protected. And those areas have this critical information or critical products that we need to control. So these access control devices, for example, here we have the access control integrated device, that is 2212HW. So this product can support up to 30,000 users, can support up to 30,000 cards. For access control, we have 3,000 fingerprints and 30,000 passwords. And again, we have 50 admin accounts which can be used to control the device. So in this case, this is a product that can be used in such scenarios, just to ensure that we can manage access to different areas. Then we mentioned another product, that is the DSS Express. This is a DAWA's software platform that manages all the devices within one environment, that we have multiple security devices or security apparatus. So with having this DSS Express installed in your surveillance environment, it implies that you can have all the devices managed under this software platform. So you can have the monitoring devices, for example, the cameras, the access controls, the intercom. If there's a parking, still manage the parking solutions products, just to mention a few. Then the last bit of it was basically having a recording device. And this recording device is basically going to be used as a way of capturing storing captured evidence by the front-end devices. And then again, to achieve some other functionalities that cannot be achieved by the cameras, you find that now we have this device that has some other AI fused into it. So you can operate those artificial intelligence features by the recorder itself. So this becomes easier when managing all the devices within one particular environment. So with this product selection, this brings us to the end of today's class. So, but we can finish up with this. We have switches or transmission devices, and these switches can either be the access switches, maybe the access transmission, or the integrated distributed or aggregate switches, or can even be the core switches. And this is basically going to determine how your data is going to be passed from the front-end devices to the back-end devices. Alongside back-end devices, from the front to the back-end devices, that is, and again determine how the bandwidth of the entire surveillance network will be utilized. So in this case, we have, for example, the PFS 3024, 24GT. So in this case, what we have here at the moment, This is a 24 port Giga Ethernet access port properties, meaning that this can transfer bulk data at the same time, ensuring that there is that smoothness when it comes to transferring data from one point to another point again. So for us to get to see all the events that have been captured, or if you want to have, let's say, for example, see the live events or doing the playback events, again, we need to have some displays at our disposal. So these displays will be connected to the recorders, or again, can be connected to other devices that can actually generate some output, just to ensure that we can follow up to what is happening at those environments. So we have different monitors with different sizes. That's basically going to be very useful when it comes to monitoring the evidences that will be captured from the front-end devices. Then for the purposes of having remote connectivity, or maybe the remote viewing of all the products within the gas station area, we need to use, let's say, for example, the DMSS application installed in a mobile phone. Then again, we link up all those devices. For example, you can link up the NVR, the NVR it is, and we can get to see all the channels connected to that NVR at one point. So using this DMSS, I can preview the live view. I can do the playback of all the occurrences or the events that have happened at the store or the gas station again. So this becomes easier when trying to monitor or maybe trying to help on managing conflicts at that particular gas station environment. So these are some of the products that have been selected for you, just to ensure that you can support or have that solution implemented at the gas station. Okay, that brings us to the end of today's learning. This is basically a small and medium businesses kind of solutions and integrations of all the products that we learned before, and there's some that we're going to learn in future. After learning some products, we'll be coming up with different solutions for the small and medium businesses, alongside some other enterprise solutions. Thank you so much for participating in today's training on the small and medium based businesses. So there's a link that I've shared on the group chats. If you click on that link, it takes you to a channel that has some recorded trainings. You can take a look at them. You can take a look at them at your own time. So I'm going to have this training for the gas station solution again uploaded into this directory that has this particular link. So if you click on this link, you're going to have more other added video recordings. So take advantage of this during your own time. Go through those recordings. So basically going to highlight a lot of items that we have mentioned. So for those who are saying that there's no link, just follow through the group chat here. You're going to see the link provided there. And for those who've shared the email addresses, again, I'm going to share that link with them. Just be patient. In the next 30 minutes, you're going to have the recordings uploaded to this YouTube channel just for your reference. Thank you so much. In case you have a question, you can highlight it. Hello. You have any concern, you can state it down so that you can tackle those issues before we call it off. Okay. You're allowed to unmute your mics and state the question that you have, just to ensure that we are in the right page. Okay, then if there's no question, I'm going to stop the recording and leave or end the session for everyone as we prepare for another session for a different day. Thank you so much and have a lovely day. Enjoy your day.